Hello, my name is Caitlin, and I will be speaking on the Cherokee culture. And I wanted to share why the Cherokee culture resonates with me. So, if you look right here, this is my wonderful granddad. His name is George Locklear. He is a full-blooded Native American Cherokee. Okay, so if you look right here, this is the seal of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation flag, and it represents the Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation. Although the seal of Cherokee Nation is designed to embrace the early government structure and the external endurance of the Cherokee Indians, it was adopted by the Act of Cherokee National Council and approved in 1871. The seven-pointed star, which is right here, it symbolizes the seven age-old clans of the Cherokees, the seven characters of Sequoia's syllabary, meaning Cherokee Nation, the wreath, which is right here, of oak leaves symbolizes the sacred fire which from time immemorial the Cherokees kept burning in their land. Oak was the wood traditionally burned. Different species of oak having ever been indigenous to Cherokee country, both in North Carolina and Georgia, as well as in the Indian Territory, to which the Cherokees removed in the early 1800s. So if you look right here, this white flag, this flag was called a peace flag. It was known to have been used in the ceremonies of the Cherokee to celebrate their national holiday. Each star, the seven clans of the Cherokee people, the stars are arranged in the pattern of the constellation known as the Big Dipper. According to the Cherokee history, the peace flag was carried by the Cherokee to the Indian Territory along the Trail of Tears. So here's a little backstory on the Trail of Tears and why the Oklahoma flag, which is an orange flag, and the yellow flag, which represents the Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation, it is different, but we're all from the same tribe. Okay, so in the early 1800s, the Cherokee adapted the tribal governing structure to include a written constitution. Cherokee courts and schools were established in 1821. A Cherokee scholar named Sequoia invented a written Cherokee language. In 1828, just 7 years later, a Cherokee language newspaper began publishing, unfortunately, despite the Cherokees' efforts to adapt to European culture. The federal government of the United States decided it was no longer important to maintain a strong allied relationship with the Cherokee Nation. In 1838, the desire for more land in Georgia gold gave the government an excuse to forcefully remove Cherokee in the southeast. More than 16,000 Native people were marched on what would historically become known as the Trail of Tears and relocated to Oklahoma. Between 25% and 58% of the Cherokee tribe died on the Trail of Tears. Although some of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians living in modern day are descendants of Trail of Tears survivors, because some made it to Oklahoma and walked back home. Some are descended from the Cherokees who were able to keep the land they previously owned. Others resulted to mountain living, which they were not used to. Okay, so that's the connection between North Carolina and Oklahoma tribe. So this right here is my beautiful mom. Her name is Melissa Locklear. And I just have to add, she makes me a little less worried to age because she is this beautiful at 51 years old. But anyway, we are from Lumberton, North Carolina. I will be speaking on dream catchers and arts and crafts of the Cherokee culture. They are handmade, willow hoops woven into a web or a net. They can include feathers, which as you can see right here, feathers, and beads. And this is exactly what this one has. They're traditionally suspended on cradles as a form of armor and protection. They symbolize oneness and are indicative of indigenous identity. Traditionally, they began with Ojibwe's dream catchers became widespread within the Native American communities in the 1960s and 70s. As a result of the Pan-Indian movement in Ojibwe culture, dreams hold significance and offer insight into different purposes like prophecies, symbolism, and spiritual strength. Dreams are often associated with messages from spirits that inform one of their deeper self and guidance for the community. Sharing and interpreting dreams is an important facet for community building and informing everyone. Dreams give insight into how the person has lived as well as their parents. One is part of the earth as the earth is part of the individual. Dreams create familiarity with the unknown. So, as you can see, Native Americans in general are very much about nature. They appreciate nature. They represent nature and guidance, spiritual guidance. Okay. Arts and crafts. So as you can see, this is a beautiful headpiece right here that was handcrafted, and plenty of beads and beautiful artwork and a beautiful design. Needles were hand carved from the straight bone of a deer's leg just above the hoof, which helped pull thread made from the fibers of hemp. Beadwork done by the Cherokee is ornamental and colorful. Traditionally, Cherokee beadworkers would use natural materials like dried berries, claws of wild animals, teeth, gray Indian corn. These are just to name a few. They would create a multitude of things like finger weaving, carving, basket weaving, pottery. They even handmade their own instruments like water drums. How we celebrate powwow is typically through powwow. It is a celebration for Native Americans and non-Native Americans and families. Native Americans love to share their culture. They love to educate people because there's so many different concepts and I guess we could say myths about our culture. And a lot of our facts was destroyed through the Europeans and the tragedies that happened along the way. So yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't have a lot of, I guess you could say, representation, because a lot of our culture from thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, was lost. But the term powwow in English translates to meeting or gathering. The modern day powwow evolved from the grass dance societies that formed in the early 19th century. The term grass dance can get rather confusing because there is also a style of dancing called grass dance that became very popular during the reservation in the mid-19th century. The grass dance societies were an opportunity for the warriors to reenact deeds for all the members of the tribe witness. And I wanted to say, this right here is my cousin. And he was just at a powwow in Lumberton, North Carolina, and he wanted to represent. And this is my cousin as well, his beautiful mom, Paulina Locklear. Thank you.